Alright, so we did get up into a little cleaner sky here. So I was able to put the 8mm on. I think I will, or I don't know. I don't know if I want to put the Barlow on. I might try it just to see if it washes out or not. And Bill Watkins, if you happen to watch this, give me an idea of how I could use a pointer, maybe a laser pointer, just off the to the screen of my phone, to point out what I'm talking about, possibly. Trying to figure out how I could do that to point out exactly what I'm talking about at any one given time. But this is the 8mm. And Mark Hayes did catch on that last video, 49 minutes in, just past 49 minutes, something fly across the screen, from bottom of the screen to the right side of the screen. I'll have to break it down frame by frame to see if in fact it was, it could have been a few things. It could have been a bird, it could have been a satellite. Satellite we'll be able to verify pretty easily through Stellarium, if in fact that's what it was. If nothing's on Stellarium and the still shots of it don't look like a satellite, usually on the satellites you can kind of see the solar panels of it. You can see a few different things if it's a satellite. If it's just a round object, then we got to kind of open our minds up to the possibilities of what it could have been. Hi Kelly, how are you? Just to see exactly what it possibly might have been. But great eyes by him. That's why we want multiple people, you know, checking the video out, looking at it. There's obviously more eyes on it, the better. But hopefully we'll get something else that comes across the moon. There was a satellite that came through the moon. I checked Stellarium at 8:32. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the time of when Mark saw fly to see if that coincides with that. But that looked like the only satellite that was in the moon's path. And it actually was not one in the orbital plane. It was one actually flying perpendicular to the orbital plane. But there again, just above center of the screen to the left is Kepler. White orb up at the top is Aristarchus. This guy right here. That right there is Aristarchus. We can go up here a little bit. My favorite place on the moon to shoot is the half hexagon mare right there, which is called the Bay of Rainbows. Killer spot on the moon. Hi Tammy. Well, we'll go up. Let's go across. Let me get it over here and I'll just let it float across the moon, and we can kind of just look and and see. Mare Crisium, right there, just above center, headed out towards 10 o'clock. But the moon is actually running parallel right now to, is that a train? Another one? I just waited for a train to pass. We'll see how bad this shakes. God, it's so fucking... Oh, that was just a... Okay, good. That was quick. Oh, here's a cool thing that we like to look at. I'll show you guys here. Hey, thanks, Carl. I appreciate that very much. So you see the white orb or crater. It's called Manilus. Just at the center. Look just down below that to the left. Yeah, tiny train. And you'll see that black rectangle. That it's right in the center of the screen. Way too symmetrical for me. Way, way, way too symmetrical. Look all the way around the moon in the whole picture right now. You won't find another thing that is that symmetrical. I could take you around the whole moon. But Montes Apenninus is the mountain range right there that actually goes up and splits the Sea of Tranquility, Mare Serenatis on the left, and then Sea of Tranquility right here to the right. I don't know if you can see them very well. They're kind of hard to see. That's Copernicus, just below center. If I go up here and bring these three craters to center, that bottom bigger one with the two white dots on the crater rim is Archimedes. If you go up, the crater right above that with the two white dots is Archimedes. And then the little one just at the 10 o'clock position is Autolycus. And then the one right above that is Aristillus. The big crater. Oh, you know what, guys? I told you wrong. Sea of Tranquility, center of the screen right now. Sea of Serenity, right there. This one over here. This big one. I always forget if this is the Sea of Rains or if this is the Sea of Imbrium. I can't remember. It's one or the other. Gassendi is the crater, big crater, center of the screen right now with the white dots going from the left side of the crater to the center. You can see Charlie Chaplin's hat, or what I call Charlie Chaplin's hat. Pretty much dead center of the screen. It's got a little line coming out of the right hand side of it. It does not look like a crater hole. It actually looks like it's inverted to me instead of a hole. Tycho, center of the screen there. Well, I agree, Carl. I mean, we could go off into some pretty serious conspiracy theories as to what the moon is. I always like to refer back to ancient times when they talk about there not being a moon. I think people should really listen to that. And it could be why we have what we have now, Earth the way it is. Because Earth surely wasn't like this nice, beautiful place that we live in now its whole time. I think that's pretty safe to say. But the moon, you can tell, like earlier when we were down low and I tried to put the 8mm, it washed out because we were still dealing with the dirty atmosphere down low. Like we're up in the nice sky right now, and it'll be up here probably another 5 hours, 6 hours before it gets down in the western dirty sky. And it'll just be crystal clear like this. But it really gives us something to look at. For sure. And all of those little white dots, I don't remember. I think it was Rachel who said something about those earlier. Definitely suspect. And this white orb right here in Aristarchus is so flippin' suspect, it's ridiculous. You can go into the page and look at pictures of that are incredibly it looks like a goddamn white sphere is what it looks like. And I would almost go as far as to say there's possibly a platform type of thing underneath it. But it's all up for debate. Copernicus right there is killer. Doesn't that look like a S4 right there in the center of the screen? Now you got to remember the telescope flips things. I think it flips it left to right and upside down or something. But it looks like a S and a 4. And I posted like 3 or 4 days ago of some pretty hard symmetry in that position. Oh, me too, Mark. I could look at the moon all day. Do you know if there are any other moons near other planets that are locked like ours? I don't know. I know Jupiter. I think Jupiter has 13 moons. Uranus has something crazy also, amount of moons. As far as locked, I mean they're always there. I don't know if they're locked in orbit with the planets. I'm not really sure. It's a great question, Carl. I know Mars has its share of moons. Yeah, but I don't know if they're locked like this is locked. Our moon is suspect in so many ways. Just the very fact that our moon can eclipse out our sun 100% is suspect. Completely suspect. The odds of that are astronomical. And I think I don't know. I have some pretty crazy thoughts about the moon. I don't think it's a... Yeah, that does sound right, Mark. That does sound right. Do I think that's a giant Death Star type of spaceship? No, I do not. But I definitely think that there is some validity to the hollow moon theory. Now, when I say hollow moon, I don't mean there's a 3-mile crust and then it's hollow inside and with a big spaceship. Nothing like that. I do feel that there are parts of the moon that are hollow. The temperature extremities on the surface are extreme, way extreme, like inhospitable extreme. But I think just like our ground, you go down in the Earth's ground and you get down to ambient, it's called ambient temperature. And I think it's like 60 some degrees. I think that that could possibly be the same type of thing that goes on up here. Though, as big as those towers that I've caught are, those could be entryways to the underground. Those things are gigantic. You know, do I feel that those are cities, erected cities? I don't know. Yeah, super extreme up there. Super, super extreme. But I definitely think that, well, personally, I think that we in the private sector went up there sometime in the late 80s and late 90s when we learned how to get through the belts. I do think that that happened. I don't think it happened until after Ronald Reagan put in the Star Wars program. Fly from bottom left to upper right. Okay, check the time, Mark. Mark the time. Let me go back over here. The Star Wars program was supposedly done away with due to funding. I don't believe that for 1 second. I think that that program went dark and has never stopped. In fact, I think the Space Force that just came out this year is part of that Star Wars program that started in the early 80s. There was a reason that that Star Wars program was put in. They tell us it was because of Russia was going to shoot nukes at us. Nah, that's a good cover. That's a really good cover. And it does ring like a bell, Carl. I'm not a believer that the Apollo, that they sent the modules down to the moon. I don't believe that. But I definitely think that we have crashed satellites into the moon. But I know that people who believe in Apollo, you know, there's the whole story of it ringing for hours after the module was sent down to the surface. I personally believe it was done a little different. Hi, Rachel. I definitely think they crashed stuff into the surface. I just don't think it was the module. But I think that well, I'll go as far as to say is there is definitely something up there. There, I just watched this last night. Titanium 236 and uranium 237, I think. Possibly, I might have that a little bit wrong. Those are byproducts. Those do not occur naturally. Those occur after the fact, after something's been done. Those occur. So how could that happen? There is some stuff out there, Mark, about us actually nuking ancient sites off the moon for whatever reason. Possibly something just flew up right there. Mark that time too. I can't see the time for some reason. But yeah, there is stories. Thanks, Carl. I appreciate you saying that. I get great pleasure out of just being able to let people check this out and look at it, instead of me just out here doing it by myself. But yes, absolutely, there are stories about us nuking up there, which I think's crazy. Here's the one thing that there's a pretty well-known thing out there that people say, if you get all off into the alien races, if there isn't, of the moon being where the reptilian, if in fact the reptilian is real. I'm not going to put my opinion out there right now, but I have my own opinion on it. This is where they're at. And supposedly that race or entity is not friendly. So could that be a reason that happens? Absolutely it could. But I think they're wasting their time doing that. Because if those guys can fly around space and come and go as they want, I'm sure they can probably shoot our nukes down or stop them or whatever. I mean, for God's sakes, they went to our flipping military bases, above our military bases, and shut our fucking nukes off from a ship. You know, I think that in itself speaks volumes. God, that is really flipping clear right now. Really clear. We might have to try a Barlow when it gets maybe an hour or so. We might have to slap a Barlow on and see what happens. Let's go up here to the top. We let it float across the bottom a few times. That Bay of Rainbows, it's the half hexagon right there. There's a lot of shit around that. I'll just say that. There is a lot of shit around that. Hey, Lonnie. So let's go up here to the top and let it come across here. I think that if any of you are familiar with the Bob Lazar story, I think Bob Lazar is 100% truthful in what he says as far as what he saw and what he reverse engineered. And I said it the other night too. All of our stealth projects, black projects, planes are, if you if you believe in aliens, is alien technology. I believe that 100%. From when Roswell was in 47, I think it probably took them 20 years to start reversing that technology. And yeah, Bob's a great story. I'll go back to the technology. And Bob Lazar, right now, today, still gets harassed about, he still gets FBI rated, still to this day. And he has a government scientific contract now. They're still looking because they still believe that man took element 115 out of 51, or excuse me, S4, when he worked there. He talked about element 115 before it was even on the periodic chart. Oh, I think that was a bird. That looked too blurry. I think that was a bird. He talked about element 115, and element 115 is on our periodic chart now. That fact alone gives that guy so much credibility. Yeah, John Lear. I also do too, Rachel. 100%. John Lear is another great guy, but John Lear takes it a step further. He says there's yeah, we got birds here that fly at night. It very well could be true. I've video captured two things that I can absolutely not explain. I verified them through Stellarium. There went another thing right there. Verified them through Stellarium. They were not satellites. And the one I know for a fact it wasn't a satellite. It came in the screen at 9 o'clock and left at 7 o'clock. And turned when it got to the middle of the moon, which is not a satellite. But John Lear, I think, says there's some drastic amount of people that live on the moon. John's got some pretty wicked stories. Some of it, okay, cool. Some of it I do buy into. Some of it I don't. Oh, no, there's nothing. But the element 115 from Lazar that is the thing that solidifies Bob Lazar for me. And the fact that he took John Lear out to Area 51 and he knew when they were going to test the ship, and they got it on flipping camera. I mean, come on. What else does the guy have to do to get total credibility? We'll let that float down. Soul Catcher tech engraves in the moon, according to Lear. He says the Soul Catcher is a huge tower with a disc on it. Well, you go look at that post I put up today of the tower. One of the towers in that, it's on a crescent moon, and the top of that tower looks like a disc. It mushrooms out at the bottom for stability, comes up skinny, gets to the top and turns into a mushroom. So I absolutely believe that 100%. Here, we just floated through here. Let's go down here. Let's go down here a little bit. There's Theophilus, just to the right of center. The crazy looking tower that almost looks like it has a cannon coming out of it that I posted today is in that crater right there, is where that picture was taken. I think that tower, Mark, very well might be part of the Star Wars program itself. The thing looks like a fucking cannon. And you go into NASA's, here's what's stupid about that. You can go on to Google right now and put Theophilus in images, and it will show you 3 mountains. It'll show you a fucking mountain range. And I had a guy tell me I almost died. I think you and I laughed about it today. A guy tell me that looked nothing more than like a normal crater. Hey, Victor, how's it going, bud? I don't know. Hopefully in the next couple of years here, I'll get a, obviously, I want a bigger scope. But I have this device that I use for deep space when I shoot my nebulas and galaxies. It's called a hyperstar. It was created here locally in Tucson, Arizona. Down at a telescope shop called Star Arizona, and I want to use it on the moon. They tell me that it can't be used on the moon, but I saw a picture from a guy in South America that used it on the moon, and it was incredible. But the hyperstar, he actually had the luxury of all the pictures that come off the space station of Earth are through a hyperstar. He built 4 of them for the ISS. But his partner, so he's the telescope guy, his name is Dean. His partner is an optometrist, an eye guy, glasses, and he does all of the lenses, and then Dean builds the devices. Very expensive. The one for my scope was $1,500. But that's the reason that I'm able to get those crazy shots I get of nebulas. Mark, I haven't figured out how to use it on the moon. Like I've put it on and looked at the moon, and the only thing I get is it like makes the dark spot of the moon, like you can almost see the surface, and the light spot is just a bright mess. So I need to educate myself and figure out exactly how that guy did it. It's the only shot I've ever seen of the moon with a hyperstar. The bright spots, NASA tells us that those are remnants of the meteor impact. Um, I of course don't buy that. Uh, I don't really know what they are. I actually think some of them are even possible. Um, they might be possible domes. Some of them, not all of them. God, I would just love to see something just light up out in space here. Let's go up here. Chang 2, if you guys want to look at something, some of the best structure ever photographed off the moon, Google Chang 2, which was a Chinese unmanned LRO, lunar reconnaissance orbiter, that photographed the structure that it photographed will fucking blow your mind. Anybody that can look at those photos that they took, I can't remember if it was an orbiter or a rover, one or the other. Anybody that can look at those photos and still say that there is not structure on the moon is looking at it with their eyes closed, because it is amazing, absolutely amazing. And the reason I say that is because right where I just started that, when I just moved it up on the Mare Crisium, is where that was taken. You guys want to stay up close, or do you want me to back it out a little bit so we can see more of the moon in one time? CHANG and then the number 2. China actually just put up here, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, they Chang 4, uh, Chang, CHANG. They put up the Chang 4 rover that is on the moon right now, today. And hopefully, China will release some photos that NASA won't. NASA has the pictures. My God, they've been sending unmanned missions up there for years. And they always tell us that there's nothing on the front side. There's nothing on the front side. Bullshit. There's plenty on the front side. You can go to Google Moon and look on the front side, and they've got shit smudged out all through Google Moon. All right, we'll stay up close. But yeah, all those white spots is suspect. Very, very suspect. Up around the Bay of Rainbows that I talk about all the time, they are all around that tower. All around it. I put up a killer picture, I don't know, a few months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, of this crater coming to the center right here, Copernicus. I think that the crater walls of that are filled with stuff. It looks like big piping. It looks like, it just doesn't look natural. NASA tells us that it's terraced. It's terraced from slough off. I don't buy that. Definitely, Carl. I have so much flipping footage of the moon archived that I still have never went through. I have a ton. I just don't have enough time. If I could devote my whole life to it, yeah, I'd be busy. But 3 kids and a job doesn't allow that. I'm kind of anxious for the moon to go unfull and to start getting the Terminator line back on it. I think we've been waxing up till this full moon. We should go waning here pretty soon. And when the Terminator line is out, that's when you can really see stuff. It's hard to see when it's full moon unless you catch, stuff flying. But I mean, just even so. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get. I mean, we're looking at stuff that we don't get a look at every day, at all. Oh, there went something right there. Did you see that? I definitely saw that. 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock. If someone could mark that time, I appreciate it. But see, I can tell you guys, as fast as that goes across the screen, that's way closer to Earth than it is to the moon. If it was something closer to the moon, it obviously would go. All right, cool, guys. Thank you. It would go a lot slower. So here, we haven't really went across Tycho yet. Which that is Tycho right there. So this will just kind of be a short stroll here. Let me look over here. Oh, look on the very edge of the moon right there. About half. I have to turn my head sideways because of my phone. Interesting. I'll have to look at that later. So we'll let this, one of the, actually it was the first tower I ever caught. It's what got me, oh, I know, huh? It's what got me into the moon. 4 craters, big craters, right lined up in a row that were right by the tower. And I always try to find them again. Because I caught that on a crescent moon. So I know it's out on the edge. And so Tycho right there, you can't see it right now, but just down to the southwest of that a little bit is Clavius. I've put a bunch of pictures up of Clavius lately. I put one up yesterday. And if you look really, really close, right in the middle of that crater, it looks like a short tower. Now here you go. Come in, it's headed right towards the middle of the screen. Chaplin's hat. If you know what Charlie Chaplin's hat looks like, just look right below center right now and you'll see something that looks like it. That stinks, guys. That reeks of anomaly. It looks nothing like a crater. It has a shadow underneath it. You can even see the shadow. That reeks. God, I want to catch that lunar wave so bad. I hate those 3 little black dots right there, a triangle right in the center. Christina actually saw those yesterday. Go up just a little bit. Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. And here's the thing, like, you look just above center right now, you see the white dots right there? Like, those are like 50 miles. Oh, there went something else right there. Did you guys see that? Right up the right side of the screen. God, there are hardly any clouds out right now. So yeah, I'm gonna have a bunch of stuff to check in this one. What do you think the wave that goes up the moon is? Man, Rick, I've watched Crow 777 caught the best lunar wave yet. Um, I don't know. I really do not know. I know people who buy into the theory that the moon is a hologram, which, just for the record, I absolutely do not buy into. But people who buy into that say that it was a glitch. I don't know. 4720 saw something else. Nice. Oh, I hear my door opening. Is it my big kids or my little kids? Hey, she has to have DEET on her if she's coming out here. She has to have mosquito stuff on her. Get your shoes on, bud, and come get her. Or bring the DEET out and I'll do it. Come here. I hear you. Come here.
Daddy.
What, baby?
I want her teeth.
You want to see?
Her teeth.
Look. What is that?
A moon.
That is a moon. Yes, it is. 4820 again. Nice. I'm trying to get my kids involved in this just so they can check stuff out. And my littlest kid, my 3-year-old, shows the most interest. Oh, you smell like you have stuff on you. Stay away from the legs. Jeez.
Don't hit him.
You want to look? Get away from the legs.
Okay, yeah.
Jeez.
I don't come out here.
You're 14.
Yeah, good point. Nice.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
You want to stay out and learn?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What do you... I'm 14. I ain't got no school. I have a PS4 upstairs. What do you think I wanted to do?
I'm sure.
Learn?
It's very true, Carl. And obviously, Rick, you heard You heard the kid.
Dad. Daddy,
Yeah, baby.
I want a tea.
You want a what?
A tea. Dad, a tea. Dad,
Ice cream?
a tea. A tea. I said a tea. I said tea. I did.
You see something? Here, let's make sure you got medicine. I gotta put stuff on my daughter real quick while that one's floating across. Here, stand up on the chair. Don't move. Stand right there. Yeah, I gotta put stuff on your arms. Let me see you. You want more bugs to get you?
No.
Okay, let me put stuff on you. Let me put a little bit on your forehead. I gotta keep away from your... A little bit on your ears. Watch out. This one. What about your legs? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get you. Come here. All right. I didn't even see, Rick. Absolutely, man. The best thing in the world. Oh, here, I'll put my hat on. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I hope one of them gets into astronomy. I don't think they realize what type of scope and stuff they have ability to use anytime they want to, you know. Hopefully they get a little older. Maybe they will. Yeah, those white dots blow me away. No what? Shh, it's that nighttime. We got neighbors. Yeah, we got neighbors.
4, 5.
Oh, where's it going? Come back. Oh, get back in here.
Dad, cow. I want to see mommy.
No,
I want to see mommy.
I know, baby.
Daddy.
Uh-huh.
Daddy.
What?
I want a tea.
You want cheese?
A tea.
Ice cream?
A tea. A tea. I want.
Here, I'm going to move this up on the edge here real quick. Let this float across. I'll be right back in 1 minute before this gets to the end. My son is into it, but thinks government is the way to go. Well, I'll touch on that when I get back. Is it still there? Oh, okay, I made it back. Well, if he's into government, time to go fly planes. Or go to Space Force. Man, I'll tell you what, if I was young right now, I'd be in that flipping Space Force. Guaranteed. I'm going to catch that lunar wave, though. At some point in time, I'm going to catch that thing. I've videotaped way too much not to catch it. You guys, if you haven't seen it yet, you should go on the page. There's a, I was shooting Orion's Nebula one night. Yeah, me too. Me too, Carl. I was shooting Orion's Nebula one night, and a thing appeared in the middle of the screen. It was very, very dim, and then it lit up like a flipping candle, and then it went dim again, and then it went off the screen. It was amazing. I equated it to something coming out of hyperspace. And the best thing about it is it didn't come onto the screen and then do it, because the first thing people said was an iridium flare from the Iridium satellites. 5720, nice. For one, I checked the iridium flares. There was none. Oh, I thought I just saw something white shoot across the screen. Maybe not. But it's in the group. I'll tell you what, I'll go in, when I go in tonight, I'll find it. It's on the group page. And I think I put a disclaimer on it of some cussing. It'll be back a little bit. But it's just me taking video of my computer screen. And it'll blow your mind. I still to this day don't know what the hell it was. But I'll tag you in it, Carl. I'll find it for you. $58.55. God, you guys giving me some flipping work. Now you got me searching the screen. It's a little black dot just to the right of Copernicus. Has that been there every time we went by? Haven't paid no attention. That fucking crater, Aristarchus. If there was ever a power source for the moon, that's where it's at, right there. Yeah, super dark. I gotta run in and grab another can of Copenhagen. Two seconds. Right? God, have you guys seen all the posts about Venus? People thinking, zooming in with their cameras and thinking it's UFOs. I'm so tired. I can't wait for Venus to leave the sky. $101.58. God, we're an hour in. Nice. Oh, we're way over an hour. 101 minutes? We're that far into this? So I lose track of time. Right there, Bay of Rainbows. If every force has an equal and opposite force, wouldn't black holes be that force? Hey, black holes are a... I don't even know where to begin with black holes. I don't even think scientists understand black holes. I'm just happy that we won't hopefully be alive and anything not that oh, I just lost the galaxy of it. I'm trying to think of the closest galaxy to our Milky Way. I just completely lost train of thought. No, God dang it. I just completely lost train of thought. Give me a second, it'll come back. God, I just want to see an armada come across the moon. Oh, is what I was going to tell you. I'll come back to that in a second, Carl. Bay of Rainbows, the hexagon black area right there, just off the big black area. If you look just to the eastern side of that, you see the 3 white dots in a triangle. The 2 bottom, oh, don't go out of focus. Don't do that. Why'd you do that? Go back and focus. There it goes. Let me go back over. It must have been I had too much black space in it. I was trying to focus. Those 2 white ones, the bottom corners of the triangle, and then the one up above it. So just above the 2 on the bottom is where that tower's at. But Carl, to go back to your question, I don't even know if I could really give a, what the fuck? God, Aristothenus looks really fucking weird right now. Right at the bottom of the mountain range. It looks like there's something in the middle of that crater. I wonder if I can get a still out of that. That's usually a really just normal crater. Right in the center of the screen. I don't even know if I can really give a opinion on. I don't fully grasp black holes. I mean, they eat everything up. I don't know. I don't even know if I can really give an opinion on that. Let me set that down. So I haven't even really got to look at this on Facebook. Does it come out clear? Does the video come out clear? I try to shoot it straight, Carl. If I got an opinion, I'll definitely give it. It looks good. Good deal. I actually I definitely like to give my opinion when it comes to space and the moon, just because I feel that I've taken enough video on it and pictures of it that I got a fairly okay understanding of it. Not perfect by any stretch, but I definitely take my share of video and pictures of it. Let's go down a little bit and back across. Hey, I appreciate that, Carl, very much. It definitely makes it worthwhile when other people get pleasure out of it also. I wish I'd have known about it. I never even contemplated doing it live before. Hold on, I gotta type this message real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, it just when you're out here by yourself in the middle of the night, it gets a little boring sometimes. Because I can tell you, I've rolled across this moon some nights over and over and over and never seen anything. Or I've came out here and taken 100 pictures and you know, 10 of them came out. That gets frustrating. You shook the world. I'm glad that there's no wind tonight. That's what makes it the best. When it's windy, it shakes and I mean I have suppression pads. I've dug little. I took 12-inch or 16-inch tiles from extra tiles I had in the house and dug them into the ground and that thing right there in the center with the crater with the three symmetrical rectangles coming off of it to a dome looking thing in the black area right there with a fucking, oh, there went something fly right there, right over the top of where I was talking. That whole area in the center of the screen right there, there's a bunch of anomalous stuff right there. We'll float across it all right now. Yeah, but I have a big, giant computer screen that I put these videos on, and it makes it a lot easier to see stuff. And here's the thing, the orbital plane right now is actually below the moon, where all the satellites are running. There's still other satellites that perpendicular across it and whatnot, but a majority of them are in the orbital plane. But yeah, that whole area in the center right now stinks. Two dome-looking structures, the crater with the three rectangles coming off of it. God, I should be able to get some really clear stills out of that. And I took a few pictures before I started this video too. Yeah, it's ton of do this, Carl. Go to Stellarium. Stellarium will show you after you Google about it. Go to Stellarium, and you'll literally see it. It is a line of satellites across the sky, like a line of satellites, TV satellites, military satellites, NORAD satellites, all kinds of stuff. The inactive satellites that aren't even being used anymore, that are still up in the sky. There's the horse right in the center of the screen. I really wish I knew what that was. But it sure looks like a horse to me. All proud. And this area, okay, Montes Apenninus, the mountain range coming across the center of the screen. You see the black area that almost looks like a W. That whole area in there is suspect to me also. And it's right around the three craters of Archimedes, Autolycus, and Aristillus. How's it going, David? is my favorite bay right there. Oh, God, here I tell my kids to stay away from the pegs and I hit them. Oh, this is going to try and jump out of focus again here. Yeah, it looks suspect. Theophilus is, it's a Lophilus. This, let me see if I can get it in the center of the screen. So right in the center of the screen, fairly big crater, black, white around the edge. That is incredibly suspect. Absolutely, bud. Thanks for coming and checking it out. Rick, tainted. Very tainted. And I'll tell you the two reasons why I say that's tainted. For one thing, as you guys know, I'm a moon researcher myself. And I can, whoever is doing that video is there because you can hear him in the background. If I saw something like that, I would shit myself, for one. And I would be hooting and hollering like there is no tomorrow. Just like when I caught the one that turned. I was going apeshit ballistic. And just when those supposed ships went into the black area of the moon, they would have instantly disappeared. Instantly. They surely would have not went 3 inches into the darkness and then all of a sudden instantly disappeared then. That video is tainted beyond tainted gets. Plus it's like 4 years old or 3 years old or something. We would have seen that all over the place. When I first saw it, I was just like, oh my God, killer catch, great catch. And then I was like, man, go back in and watch that. And I went back in and watched it probably 10 more times. And I was just like, nope, no way. I just don't buy it. That's why that is the main reason that I do not go off of other people's stuff. If they're doing it live like this, okay, it's hard for me to dispute, but I don't look at other people's stuff. There's a couple guys out there that I enjoy looking at their stuff. Bruce Sees All, I actually like looking at his stuff, but I think the guy is a complete fucking asshole. I actually asked him one day, I said, hey Bruce, I said, with that, that was just a bug or something there. I asked him, I said, Bruce, I said, you have a 14-inch scope. I said, why do you not zoom in to the craters? Like, zoom into the craters. Like, you have that big giant scope. And this guy straight attacked me, told me that what I do is trash. I have zero respect for the guy, but he does do live stuff, and I've seen some cool stuff on his page or on his channel. But I have zero respect for the guy, because I wouldn't treat another amateur astronomer like that, because I think we are all, if you're legitimately into it, we're all looking for the same thing. You know, we're all trying to prove that the government, what they tell us is bullshit. And I see no benefit from doing that at all. And that's why I trust my own stuff. I trust my own stuff. Are all of my conclusions or all of what I say correct? Absolutely not. Is some of the stuff that I may see not what I think it is? That's true. But some of it is irrefutable. So yeah, I don't buy that video one bit. I wanted to so bad when I saw it. I was just like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." And just how the ships go into the darkness is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And the shadows that it shows it casting, no way. He's not close enough to the moon to have shadows like that. And if that video is ever proved to be 100% authentic, I'd be the first one to stand up and eat my words. But my opinion is, nope, not real. I would love to catch something like that. I actually had my son out on that video that I caught of the ship that turned. He was actually out with me. I was yelling at my wife. My wife at the time. I was going nuts. Guys, my phone has 10% left on it. So we'll probably go for, I don't know, maybe another 10 minutes. And then I'm going to probably give the moon, probably give it maybe about an hour. And then I'll come out and I'll take one more good video tonight. And then that'll probably be it. We'll get about 3 or 4 hours of coverage off the brightest moon of the year. Yeah, that black spot's still right there by Copernicus. God dang, man. That rectangle right there is, Jesus, it's just too perfect. Oh. Right coming to center of the screen. Right at center. It's just to the left of the crater. That bright crater is Manilus. Manilus. Turn and look at this a different way. Possibly something just went across. 125.40, okay. Yeah, we probably only have, I don't know, there's probably still 4 hours of it being up in good sky before it gets down in the dirty part of the sky. Oh, I hear the door open. Oh, it's my little kid. What? Yeah, Jordan. I hear you. What's up? What do you need? You should be in bed. Daddy's looking at the moon. You don't want to go to bed? Come here. Come here. Are you tired?
No.
No?
Mm-hmm.
You tired? Daddy's going to come in here in a few minutes.
Dad.
Huh?
Papa. Then be me.
Tiana and Bubba are being mean? What are they doing?
No, okay.
Oh, child.
Dad. Daddy.
Huh?
They're not being mean.
Okay, I'll come inside. Alright, well, I'm going to let this finish across the screen. Now I'm going to go in. I got to get this little one to bed. She should already be in bed. And then I'll come out here in probably about an hour. I'll do one more. If any of you guys are still awake or are interested in checking it out. But I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll check out the flyers. We'll see what they are. And I'll be back in probably about an hour. I'll talk to you then.